about fears. Let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
Okay, welcome back to Mystery at Carlsbad Tavern. So, I've had, well, it's probably been 5, 6, 7 days since our last video. And again, don't think that I'm not doing anything. Trust me, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So, I've interviewed Ron, the doorman. I've interviewed Ron, the sketch, meaning the third guy in the sketch. Actually, there's only two guys. The younger one, that I'm very confident that that's him. I've interviewed him. I interviewed Alicia, who was actually, she was a bartender there, and Brenda actually called her either the day of her disappearance or the day before to try to get her to take her shift, which I did not know. So, a lot going on. Now, a lot of these interviews will not be televised because number one, some of them don't want them to be, okay? Two, there's certain things that I'm trying to accomplish without this. Now, I'm still being transparent, okay? But there's some things that I got to hold back on right now, currently, for the integrity of the investigation. But I will say that the interview with Ron, the doorman, was cordial, professional, and he was not there that night. So he gave me the story about how he became a doorman there. The previous owners had hired him, and Carl kind of incorporated him. He didn't like the way the bar was going. Remember, Ron was a probation officer during the time. He did not have other probation officers working for him, as was told to me, according to him. He seemed forthright. One of the things that did bother me is not about him, but he said that he doesn't recall the police ever talking to him. That is a mistake. Okay? Everybody in that bar, patrons, past workers, current workers, they all should be interviewed. Okay? And if that wasn't done, it's a mistake. So Ron says he doesn't believe that he was interviewed. Now, I think he would remember that. So I'm going to say that he probably was not interviewed. He said that the clientele kind of was shady there. He also said that he thought Carl was a bit of, I guess, shady, but, scatterbrained. Always had an angle. Always had something going on, doing 20 things at once, trying to make a scam or whatever it is. That it's no surprise to me. When I talk to Carl, I get that sense from him today. Mentioned Carl's girlfriend, I think, working there, which we already knew. Nothing, eventful. He doesn't remember Brenda at all. Doesn't think he ever met Brenda. But he said that unless there was an event, they would not have a doorman. And that's what I thought all along, okay? Friday, Saturday nights, yes, he's going to be a doorman. He's going to work there. Tuesdays, no. Not unless there was an event there, Chippendales or a band, whatever it is. But that didn't happen this night. So when Carl says there was a doorman and he fired him, he is mistaken. I am confident in saying that now. Now, let's get on to Ron from the boys out of town who matches the sketch. Took me a long time to track Ron down, and when I interviewed him, one of the things that he said to me is that he believed there was another bartender working with Brenda, a guy bartender. So, if that's the case, and I'm not sure if I brought this up to you guys before, I don't think I did because I just got a lot going on right now. That backs up Carl's story a little bit, doesn't it? Because then I don't know, in the interview with Carl or through text messages with Carl, I think Carl also, I know he said, hey, it could have been not a doorman. It could have been another bartender. He says he doesn't feel like he would have left her there by herself. So Ron the sketch guy says that he is pretty confident there was somebody else working with Brenda that night. So I got to find this guy. All right. There was a lot more into this interview with Ron the sketch. There's a lot more. Okay. I just have to do some things internally first before I can share any of it. I will say there's something. Now, before I get off and give you too much information, let's skip to Alicia. Alicia, I was able to interview her and record it, and that will be the next video. She gives a great layout of the bar. She had worked there for a year, and where they would put their coats, what they would do, the mats behind the bar. Remembers Brenda being bubbly, just a wealth of information. And I need it. I need to hear these things before you can make any sort of assessment. So that is everything that's going on in the Brenda Condon investigation. Finding people is the hardest thing. And then once you find them, getting in contact with them. So this morning all day yesterday, when I had interviewed Ron the sketch guy, he had given me a name. And I was trying to follow up on that person. And I thought I found him and, track it through Facebook, try to find phone numbers, find a person that knows this person, that knows that person, send a message here. It is rough. And I spent all day yesterday doing that. Finally got a call back today from this individual who says, I thought you were a scam. You contacted my daughter at school because she was a school teacher, I found out. So I contacted her there. Her other daughter, his other daughter, I contacted, who worked, I don't even remember where, and they collaborated and they said, Dad, I don't think this is a scam. This guy is too persistent. And that's what he told me. And guess what? It was the wrong guy. Same name, wrong guy, same state, wrong guy. So I spent a day and a half tracking down the wrong person for this lead. And this morning, for about 4 hours, I finally found the right guy. and was able to talk to him. And the stuff I learned from him is good stuff. Okay. I am finally confident enough to say that I think I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel here. Things are starting to fall into place, and I'm able to push away the rumors that had come in for 30 something years, and people want to grab onto those. And what you have to do is either verify them or debunk them. And I'm pushing them away. I think I'm starting to debunk them, and I'm starting to be able to deduce what happened to Brenda. Not there yet. It's still a long way off, but I do see a light out there in the distance, and it gives me a mark, you know. So there's hope. Things are going well. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be the bartender, Alicia. She gives some good information. Then after that, I am trying to, it may be a little bit until I can fully wrap my brain around this information within the last couple days that I've gotten and present it again without ruining the integrity of the investigation. And what does that mean, you ask? You're like, oh, you're supposed to be transparent. What that means is, listen, I've been on the other side in a courtroom. And if this case ever does make it there, I want to work it from the trial backwards, meaning I do not want to make any mistakes here in the process of down the road if anyone was ever to be arrested for this. Now, we're nowhere close to that, but I'm starting to see a light. So I want to prepare for that. And how I do that is when I'm done here with all the questions, everything that I have, listen, the state police who have jurisdiction of this case, they don't give two shits about my opinion. They don't care about my hypothesis or my theories. They want facts. Okay? So when I bring this to them, if there's a conclusion to this, I want to have everything meticulously lined up in order, and I want them to say, yes. Yes. I don't want them to look up and say, this is a problem. Now, what would a problem be? Just for instance, let's say I wanted information so bad that I found somebody that had information, but they were unwilling to give it. And I decided to go pay them a visit and force my way into their home, sit them down on the couch, and tell them very forcibly, you are going to tell me this information or you're going to have a bad day. Okay. Now, as a police officer, obviously, you can't do that. Well, guess what? As a civilian, you can't force your way into somebody's home either. Now, it's not going to get tossed from court. It will never make it there. Neither will that information that I obtained. Now, I'm not saying I've done that in the past. And I'm not saying I'd do it in the future. I have crossed my mind a few times on a few cases. Yet, you got to remain professional. And the information, listen, it will come. And it is coming. It's trickling in. I'm getting a lot of good information still. And this last 5 days has been very enlightening with the information that I got. So with that said, I got to make sure it's okay. So when I give it off to the state police, they can look at it and say, yep, everything's good to go. You know, we don't want something that's inadmissible in court. You know, information is only as good as the provider that gets it, right? So if not, it can just end up being rumor. And that's what we don't want. This case has had enough rumor in 31 years. We need facts. And that is what I'm working on. And how you determine fact is you have to corroborate it. Okay? Let's say, for instance, you have 4 individuals, and they tell me, I seen John Doe at the bar talking to Brenda. Okay, where were they sitting? Well, one of them says, oh, they were standing. And the other one says, I saw them in the bathroom. We don't want that. Yes, the general terms, okay, they all said that they were talking. Well, let's get on the same level, the same page here. Okay, could they have been in the bathroom talking when you weren't looking and that's why the other 3 saw? Yes. Things like that. You have to corroborate it. Let's say you have 3 people and they said, you know, that they didn't see Brenda at all. But the 4th person who was in there with them said, well, I don't know what they're talking about. I saw her. She was right here. So now I have to find somebody to corroborate what he's saying, or he's lying and corroborate what the other 3 are saying. So, you know, I like saying being a detective is pretty easy sometimes. You just have to ask the right questions. But sometimes it is difficult. You know, but hey, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Okay? We're making progress. As Brenda's sister and son said, you know, they have more information now than they ever had in the past 31 years. So to me, that's what it's about. Helping the family out. And if we can get justice for this family, let's do it. Remember, I see a little light at the end of that tunnel. Things are starting to come together. Stay tuned. It's been one hell of a ride, and it ain't over. With that said, Mains out.